Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. It is 3:28, almost 3:29 Central on your Thanksgiving morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don in here with you. We're watching some showers and thunderstorms rumble across Central Alabama and moving into East Alabama and West Georgia. So, heck, we're up. We thought we would jump in here and kind of give you an update on what we're looking at this hour and tell you what's happening, what we think is going to happen, and then give you your weather forecast for the remainder of your Thanksgiving Day for East Alabama and West Georgia. Again, happy Thanksgiving to you. So, we have a line of thunderstorms moving across Alabama. This is in advance of a pretty strong cold front that will move through the area later on today and through the overnight hours tonight, which will bring us some much colder temperatures as we get into Friday night, and for the remainder of the weekend. And out ahead of that cold front, we have a huge difference in temperature, even though it's pretty cool out there this morning. Kind of a head scratcher. You're thinking it is way too cool to be having showers and thunderstorms. Well, actually, there is such a difference between the air that's in place across Alabama and Georgia now versus what's headed our way. There's enough of a difference there that we are getting some of those showers and thunderstorms develop. So we have two areas that we're watching this morning. One area is running well out ahead of the actual main line, and you can see that across portions of southwest Randolph County down into northwestern Chambers, southeastern Clay, across northern portions of Tallapoosa, and then back into Coosa. We'll take you in a little bit closer on that particular area. We do have some thunder and lightning involved in this particular cell. We have maybe some small hail taking place too to the north of Alexander City. And this is not severe. We have no advisories or any information from the National Weather Service on this particular storm. And I think it stays, for the most part, in northern portions of Tallapoosa as it moves on off to the east, maybe a little bit north of east. I think this cell is going to move in this general direction that you see there on your screen with the arrow that I just put up. The backside of it, the part of the storm that's over here between Weguffka and Rockford, could slide right across Alexander City. You've already had one shower move through earlier this morning, and you're probably going to get some of this as well, because even though the individual storms are moving northeast, the system as a whole is moving in that direction to the southeast. So let me clear that off, and we'll zoom back out and show you the main line. Now, the main line stretches from near Atlanta right out I-20, maybe just a little bit south of I-20 to around Anniston, and then it dives off to the southwest down to around Demopolis and Meridian, Mississippi. And it is also moving to the east this morning in this general direction, while the entire complex is sliding southeast. So we will get some of this across East Alabama and West Georgia also. You'll notice that this is a very thin line of thunderstorms. So once it clears your area, once this particular line clears your area, then that threat of severe weather will end. So places like Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, up there around Pelham, down to around Chilton County, you're almost out of it. Actually, the extreme northwestern portions of Chilton County already out of that severe threat, but places like Jemison and Clanton, you've still got the line to go. But the bottom line is, once this line, the back side of this, clears your area, then that threat of severe weather has already ended. Northwest Alabama, North Alabama, already clear from that severe threat this morning. And this is not a huge threat. This is a marginal setup at best this morning. And we knew it wasn't going to be a widespread severe weather outbreak, but there is that chance that one or two of these storms could get out of hand. So we wanted to watch this for you. It's kind of unusual. It's Thanksgiving morning. A lot of folks are still in the bed. We have lots of family visiting with us this morning, and so we wanted to make sure that you were aware of what's going on out there with the weather. So we're going to watch this until we get this line of storms out of here. It's going to take a couple, 2-3 hours to get East Alabama and West Georgia completely clear of this severe threat. Now, for those of you that may be watching us up in northeast Georgia, which is where I'm broadcasting from, let me switch over to the Atlanta radar and we'll show you what's going on up here. And you can see not much of anything. We had a pretty good lightning show up around Helen and to the points north about an hour and a half ago, but that cell has weakened as it moved on off to the east, and right now just a few broken scattered showers in southern Lumpkin County, back across White County up there, right across the top of the mountain up there at Unicoi Gap. We have got one moderate shower moving through, but certainly nothing severe. You have to go all the way down to around Gainesville before we start to see any heavy activity. And we do have some heavier showers down there from Gainesville back to between Dawsonville and Cumming and back over toward Ball Ground and Canton. Heavier showers now just north of Atlanta. Highway 400 getting some pretty heavy rainfall now from Cumming all the way back down to Roswell, Kennesaw, Woodstock with some heavy rain up there on 75. Downtown Atlanta looking good right now. And really, I don't see a whole lot that's going to move through Atlanta. I mean, we've got some broken showers out around Mableton and down to around Douglasville that will move through downtown, but nothing of any great significance. Most of that staying up there around Alpharetta. Back in East Alabama and West Georgia, our primary coverage area, you can see, again, what's going on. Some very small broken showers over in West Georgia along I-85 up there between Peachtree City and Hogansville. And then up in Carroll County, we've got some showers moving through central Carroll County, moving off to the east-southeast. But again, nothing severe out there at all this morning. We only have one special weather statement that is currently in effect, issued by the National Weather Service out of Birmingham, and that is going to be over here in West Alabama. That is going to be a special weather statement for Perry County through 4 a.m. this morning. At 3:30, Doppler radar was tracking a strong storm. About 7 miles northwest of Marion, moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. Wind gust of 40 miles per hour expected with that particular cell. So that's the only statement we've got from the National Weather Service out there this morning. So, and I've been watching the National Weather Service chat room, and the only thing I'm seeing in the chat room this morning pretty much is a lot of folks saying Happy Thanksgiving. That's about it. Not a whole lot of weather talk going on over there. So we're going to watch this for you, and we'll of course, bring you any severe weather statements that may be issued from the National Weather Service. But honestly, I don't anticipate seeing much of that. But you are hearing rumbles of thunder this morning across East Alabama. Especially if you're in northeast Tallapoosa, southwest Randolph, back into southeastern Clay County. And I'll show it to you right there. So Roanoke, nothing but maybe some drizzle out there at the moment. Rain has begun now in Wadley, down to around Frog Eye, back over toward New Site. And I'll kind of rock this back and forth. Well, actually, I'll put it in motion so you can kind of get a general feel for the direction it's moving in. And like I said, you can see that it's moving to the east, maybe a little bit north of due east. So this will make it eventually over there into Roanoke, Pennon, Welch. I believe Rock Mills will probably get some of this rain as well. And again, this is forming out ahead of the main line. So probably a couple of rounds of showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder here across East Alabama before this is done. And it's going to take a couple of 2-3 hours to get all of this out of here this morning. Good news is this is not going to be an all-day event. This is not going to be a Thanksgiving bummer type system where it rains all day long and the kids can't go outside and play. You know how grown folks are. They like to eat that lunch and send them kids outside to play in the backyard. And I think you're going to be able to do that today. I believe we get all of this out of here probably before you sit down for Thanksgiving lunch, or certainly if you're going to do supper tonight or dinner. Depending on what part of the Southeast you're in, you're going to call it something different. So looking at the chat room this morning, good morning, Matthew. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, sir. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Hannah. She says the big boom woke her up this morning. There's Reba. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Reba. Delta. We're talking about Clay County, not the airport. Yeah, the line hasn't moved through Clay County yet, so you're going to have some showers up there in Delta. Asking the question about going hunting. You know, that's something I used to do. Man, that was a tradition back in the day. We would always be in the woods on Thanksgiving morning. But I'm afraid it's going to be wet up there in Delta. If you're going to be hanging off the side of a tree. Deer hunting. I would probably wait until this line moves through before I go to the stand. Hey, Remy Martin. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Well, if I can find my mouse. There it is. I have a bunch of monitors in the studio, and sometimes the mouse gets lost. Good morning, Cindy. There's Miss Cecilia. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you down there at Newman Estates in Chambers County. Center Chapel in the house. Good morning, Nicole. Hey, Paige, good morning to you. Beverly Smith, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Beverly. Down in Alexander City, Alabama. And for the moment, that line of storm staying north of you, Alex City, but they will probably make it into, if you live on the north side of Alexander City, you may be in it, but this is probably the west side of this complex is probably going to slide right across Alexander City, and then we have the main line that's still back off to your west that will eventually move through Alexander City as well. Again, if you're just joining us, it is 3:43 a.m. Central, and so we're just watching the radar for you this morning. Nothing significant out there to be concerned about. We only have one special weather statement that's been issued by the National Weather Service, and that is back over in West Alabama, over in Perry County, for a thunderstorm near Marion, Alabama. Hey, Barbara, happy Thanksgiving to you, too, from Enterprise, Alabama. I lived in Enterprise twice, actually, back in the 80s, mid-80s, and then actually mid-80s, and then again in the early 90s. Lived in Enterprise, lived in Dothan. Actually, let me be proper here. I lived in Webb, Alabama. That is a eastern suburb of Dothan, out there in Red Holland country. Columbus, Mississippi. Hey, Sandy Davis, good to have you in here with us. We pay attention to Columbus, Mississippi, because what we're going to end up with in Alabama, obviously, comes from Mississippi 99.9% of the time. So be sure and bookmark us and come back and join us during severe weather coverage. We pay attention to what's going on, especially in eastern Mississippi. Good morning, Wanda from Pell City, Alabama. Happy Thanksgiving, Hunter. Good morning, Jennifer. Happy Thanksgiving to you. So here's the plan this morning. I know it's early and a lot of folks are still in the bed, and rightfully so. So what I'm going to do is hang with you guys probably for another 15, 20 minutes or so. I just want to kind of see how this storm is going to behave that's moving into Randolph out of Tallapoosa. And then we're probably going to end our live, reset everything, and then I'll get your primetime forecast out. I got a busy morning ahead of me. Got some cooking to do here in a little while. And those of you who are on with us live this morning, probably getting up to do the same thing. And then I think the rest of the day is going to be perfect as far as weather is concerned. It's going to be breezy and windy, and temperatures will be falling a bit, but no more storms after we get this stuff through here this morning. Jordan says she just put the turkey in the smoker. That sounds delish. I'm doing it a little backwards this year. We're not doing a turkey. We're going to do roast. We're going to do roast and dressing. Just something different. My wife says I'm different anyway. Probably has a point. Kevon, good morning to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Timberly watching us from Crackford this morning. Amy. Hey, Amy, good morning. It is good to have you in here. It's also good to have you guys on as a supporter of Dr. Don's Weather. We appreciate you. So Barbara is a 24-year-old. She's an Alabama veteran now. Moved here from Newport, Vermont. I bet that was a culture shock. So Brian's giving us a report. He's over there in Jefferson County. He's telling us that when the line moved through Birmingham, really nothing to it. Had a few claps of thunder and some cloud-to-ground lightning, maybe 30 minutes of light rain. Well, it's good to know, Brian. Thank you. We appreciate that report. Brian always kind of tells us how things were when the lines come through Birmingham, because they always come through Birmingham before East Alabama. So Brian kind of keeps us up to date over there in Birmingham. So we'll kind of have a good idea on what to expect across East Alabama and West Georgia. And let me tell you something, folks. Even with modern technology and all the tools that we have, all the radars and models and all the high fancy stuff that we use to tell you what the weather is doing and what it's going to do, nothing beats ground truth. So to have someone in place to tell us to look out the window and say, this is what's happening, you cannot replace that with technology. So thank you, Brian. Please keep that up for us. We appreciate you, and happy Thanksgiving to you over there in Birmingham, Alabama. So this line of storms, the lightning has ticked up just a bit on this complex that's sitting up here across northern Tallapoosa County, but still it's not anything significant. We're only talking 13 lightning strokes in the last 3 minutes or so. Actually less than that now. It's just dropped down to 6. So that lightning is going to be in extreme northeastern Tallapoosa. They're around Daviston, between Wadley and Daviston, and this is moving. I'll rock it back and forth, and you kind of get an idea of the direction that it's moving in. We got rain up there just northeast of Mellow Valley, stretching down to Wadley, back down to around Marcoot and Chambers, Daviston, New Site, north of Alexander City. This is staying north of you so far, but I think the western side of this will eventually slide across Alexander City. Again, if you're just joining us, that's not severe. It's just some thunder and lightning. There could be some very small hail over here just to the west of New Site, but it doesn't appear to be anything significant. Then as I zoom back out, the main line stretching from just south of Villa Rica, running parallel to I-20, south of I-20, over to around Talladega, and then down to the southwest across northern Chilton County, and then down to around Demopolis and into Mississippi near Meridian. Got a viewer watching us this morning from Columbus, Mississippi. As you can see, this line came through Columbus several hours ago. So Columbus is in the clear and can enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving Day with no severe weather worries. Yeah, Mark is giving us ground truth reporting there from Alexander City. He's saying heavy rain, not much wind in northern Ellick City. That is some pretty good rainfall you've got over there, Mark. Loud thunder in Roanoke. That is going to be a stroke of lightning that was out there on Highway 22 west, about Dickard. Maybe a little bit west of Dickard. But in this type of setup, because our temperatures are pretty cool, that thunder is going to travel a long way this morning. Happy Thanksgiving, Regina. Heavy thunder across the river from Frog Eye over there at Bibbs Ferry. side of the Tallapoosa River. And that would be right there. This area is where we're seeing that most of the thunder and lightning this morning. Even though we're seeing an occasional stroke of lightning up here between Wadley and Dickert out there on Highway 22. But not a tremendous amount of lightning output with this. And again, this is a cell that has developed out ahead of the main line. The main line is still well off to the west and will take another couple of hours to completely clear East Alabama and West Georgia. The main reason we're here is this cell that stretches from about Rockford over to just south of Kellyton, just north of Alexander City, back over toward Daviston, and into northwestern Chambers, southwestern Randolph, and southeastern Clay. This thing developed fairly rapidly, so we wanted to kind of be here with you and watch and see how this was going to evolve. And so far, it has behaved. I mean, I don't see anything alarming with this thunderstorm at all. But it's going to wake a lot of folks up, so we wanted to be here so we could let you know what was going on. Good morning, Chrissy. Chrissy says it's thundering and lightning in Cragford, Alabama. Brittany says she's got thunder at Roxton. Andrea, you are absolutely 100% correct. I've had that discussion on here before. I can remember as a child when it would come a thunderstorm. And my grandmother, she's like, "Oh, y'all gotta be quiet, be quiet. Shh, be quiet. You cannot talk." I mean, she'd turn the television down or completely off. We had to be quiet when it was thundering and lightning outside. That is the truth. Happy Thanksgiving, Joanne. Good morning, Jay. Thundering in Roanoke. I know it's early, folks, and a lot of you are just checking to see what the weather is, and you're going to go lay back down. I don't blame you. I would too. And we're not going to stay on the entire time here because, honestly, there's no reason to. These are just thunder showers, really, is a better term for this. And we really have not seen anything of any concern. I just was up watching it anyway and wanted to jump in and give you an update on what we were seeing and kind of tell you what we thought we were looking at. And so I'm going to stay with you probably for about another 5 minutes or so. And then I'm going to reset everything and get your morning primetime forecast out, so you'll know what to expect the remainder of your Thanksgiving day, which I can tell you, once this line moves through, the threat of severe weather ends, and then we will see temperatures slowly fall this afternoon. It'll be windy. You know how it works this time of year in the fall. We get the line of thunderstorms, and then it gets breezy out of the northwest, and then temperatures start to fall. It won't get crazy cold tonight. But tomorrow yet is going to be a different story. It's going to get pretty cold tomorrow afternoon. And big ball game over in Wadley over on the West Bank tomorrow night. I hope the entire area goes out to support the Wadley Bulldogs. But make sure you bundle up. Make sure you take Coach with you and blankets and all that stuff because it's going to be cold over there. And then, of course, the Iron Bowl is Saturday in Tuscaloosa, 2:30 p.m. Central start on that one. And we're probably looking at temperatures in the 50s, most likely low to mid-50s at kickoff. And then we'll be falling into the 40s as we head toward the fourth quarter of the Iron Bowl clash in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, if you'll remember, I don't think the cell phone. I mean, I don't think the lightning thing with the cell phone is something to be concerned about. I think that kind of carried over from the days of landlines, which I understand that lightning can come in on a wire, but then as we evolved into cell phones, folks still, you got to get off that phone. There's lightning outside. I don't know that I've ever heard of anybody on a cell phone that got struck by lightning because they were on a cell phone. I don't know. Maybe it has happened. Yes, Kayla, everything is perfectly fine to go back to bed. War Eagle Mark. War Eagle basketball and War Eagle football. Man, that basketball team is something else. Good morning, Beth. Good to see you this morning, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thank you, Beth, for those kind words. I appreciate that. And kind words like that is why I do what I do. I appreciate you. Okay, folks, so it is 4 o'clock, actually 1 minute past, almost 2 minutes past 4 a.m. And so we are going to leave you with it. I am watching this very closely, and if this thunderstorm that's moving into East Alabama were to intensify, I'll be right back with you. And we're going to keep an eye on this, and I'll have your primetime forecast for the remainder of your holiday weekend on the way for you. I'm going to hold up on it until we get this line of storms through because I could have to go back live at any moment. So we're going to wait until we get this line of storms through the area. And then we'll have your primetime forecast out, which will carry you through the rest of the weekend. Now, if you're watching this, you know how this works. After we stop our live broadcast, then about 3 or 4 minutes later, you can watch the whole thing again. So if you're watching this after we finished our live, understand that this is going to become outdated as this line of storms continues moving off to the east. So just understand that. Pay attention to the time. Anytime you watch something on Facebook or YouTube, always pay attention to the date and time that it was posted, especially when it comes to weather, because you'd be surprised. You would be surprised at the number of people who text me a day or two after a weather event, and they will say, gosh, I didn't even know it was going to rain today. Well, that was a live broadcast from 3 days ago. And so really pay attention to that, especially when it comes to weather, whether it's my broadcast or someone else's. because weather changes. Obviously, it changes, and it changes quickly. So the radar part of all of this, if you're watching it much after 4:15, 4:30 a.m. Central, is not going to be valid, but the information will be. This is not going to be a red letter severe weather events. Matter of fact, we haven't seen any severe weather at all this morning across the state of Alabama. We do have some strong showers and thunder showers out there, rumbling thunder across East Alabama back into Central Alabama. This is going to continue through about 7 o'clock maybe this morning, and then the rain will be ending, no later than 8 or 9, probably before then. And then we go back to mostly cloudy skies. Wind will start to increase as we head up into the afternoon. And then it's going to get breezy this afternoon, and it will cool off. Nothing drastic tonight. And as we get into Friday and Saturday, though, it's going to get really cold out there. So be prepared for the cold. That will follow this stuff that we're dealing with this morning. Brian, I'm telling you, I wouldn't feel safe about going to a tree stand until the main line passes you. Is it safe to fire up the deep fryer outside? Oh, yeah, you're in Birmingham. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I got somebody over in Clay County that wants to go deer hunting this morning, and I just glanced at it. You're asking about frying the turkey. If you're in the Birmingham area, yeah, I think you're good. I mean, there's just a handful of scattered showers around Birmingham, but the main line is past you now, so I think you're good. Let me just show Brian right quick. There you go. If I remember correctly, you're up here on the northeast side of Birmingham. You got one little bitty T90 shower up there, just west of the 459 interchange. It's going to be moving right out I-20. Then a couple of small cells back toward Hueytown. But overall, Birmingham's on the good side of things now. Hey, Linda, another couple, 2 or 3 hours, I think it's all out of here. I get your humor, Brian. I get the humor. All right, folks, I'm going to step aside. We'll be watching this offline again, and if we need to come back, we will. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I certainly hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving Thursday and that you'll get to enjoy lots and lots of good food and your family, and be thankful. Be thankful this Thanksgiving Day. There is a lot to be thankful for, and I encourage you to be thankful. Have a fantastic rest of your Thanksgiving. I'll be back in an hour or so with your primetime forecast for the remainder of the holiday weekend. Thank you for joining us for our live severe weather coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather.